Well, today is New Year's Eve, and believe it or not, tomorrow is going to be 2026. And so I wanted to look at, this last day of the year, I wanted to look at a Psalm chapter 90, and take a look at the fact that life is short. I was reminded of Psalm 90 as I visited a church when I visited my in laws in southern Nevada this past week. And so in Psalm chapter 90, I was reminded of the eternality of God and the brevity of mankind. My grandmother used to quote Psalm 90 to me, and she called it the birthday psalm, but that sounds like a celebration. We're in Psalm chapter 90 is not a celebration, it's a somber reminder that we are under sin's curse. And thank God for Jesus Christ who delivered us from the curse, but we still are in the sin cursed body, and we're all going to die one day. And often, as human beings, we live under the tyranny of the urgent. And it's not that, as Proverbs says, yes, we're not to be lazy and so forth, and we should work, as Solomon said in Ecclesiastes. And so work is good, but it's also good not to just live under the tyranny of the urgent, but also to have an eternal frame of mind. So listen to Psalm 90. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm going to read some selected verses from Psalm 90. Here, verse 1. Lord, you have been our dwelling place in all generations. Before the mountains were brought forth, or ever you had formed the earth and the world, from everlasting to everlasting, you are God. So that is God. Even before creation, he already existed. He has existed forever. He is outside of time. But then us, verse 3, you return man to dust and say, return, O children of man. Which reminds us of Genesis chapter 3, verse 19, when God formed Adam, he created him from the dust of the earth, from the dirt of the ground, and breathed in him the breath of life, and he became a living being. But then one day, it wasn't our original intent, but the one day, because of sin's curse, we're going to return to the dust. Moses says here in Psalm 90, verse 4, for 1,000 years in your sight are but as yesterday when it is past, or as a watch in the night. It's like 1,000 years is like that to God. And another 1,000 years, that to God. For us, it seemed like, whoa, we don't live that long ago. You sweep them, that is mankind, away with a flood. They are like a dream, like grass that is renewed in the morning. In verse 6, in the morning it flourishes, it is renewed. In the evening it fades and it withers. Again, showing the brevity of life. I'm going to skip over to verse 10. The years of our life are 70, or even by reason of strength, 80. And we know with modern medicine, 90, maybe 100. Yet their span is but toil and trouble. They're soon gone, and we fly away. Who considers the power of your anger and your wrath according to the fear of you? And if you think of, 1,000 years is like nothing to God, but our lifespan, 70, 80, 90, maybe 100 years, that's like but nothing to God. It's like a dream that we have. So what should we do? I'm going to end here in verse 12. So teach us to number our days, not literally to count our days. That is, have an eternal view of life. Don't live in the tyranny of the urgent. Why? That we may gain, or rather get, a heart of wisdom. And so if you want to be truly wise here on earth, count your days. Again, don't, on a calendar count your days. But look at life with an eternal perspective. Don't be blinded by the tyranny of the urgent. And then we'll be wise in God's eyes. I pray that you have a blessed New Year's Eve and that your 2026 is blessed in God's eyes. Thank you for joining me in 2025.